Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to episode 20 in my Overly Scienced series. Now, right off the bat, you may notice I sound a little bit different. And I'm really glad that I am predisposed to procrastination, because if I had recorded this episode any sooner, I wouldn't be able to use what I got in the mail. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure it was Zilch here who sent a mic my way, with a little note inside. So thank you so much for that. Now you can hear my voice in really high quality. And the other thing I want to talk about before I get into what I'm doing today is my previous video. The point I was trying to make was very poorly communicated. If you were unlucky enough to see the original video, it has been changed. There's about 10 seconds of it that are cut out now. But what I wanted to get across was, if you think my build is suboptimal or I can make an improvement to it, don't just say that it's a bad build. Try and defend your position using either some math like I did in the last episode or data of some kind. Like, if my build is bad, I want to know how to improve it. I may be good at the game, but a true master is an eternal student. Like, for example, when Eric Bell suggested I just compost my seeds instead of using the seed kiln mod to turn them into coal. So I will be removing the seed kiln mod, and instead, all of my excess seeds will be composted. And I don't know why I didn't think of this. I've been playing the game for over 2 years, and I guess I just got so tunnel visioned, I couldn't see the answer that was just outside the tunnel. Okay, so what is the main focus of this video? Well, I've been talking about it for a while, but I want to put in a natural gas boiler, or a sour gas boiler for natural gas. I did remove the old mealwood farm and bristle blossom farm that was over here because I relocated all of the plants over to here. So I'm going to use this space over here for the boiler. I guess I should talk about this before moving on, since I did this between episodes. This cools off all of the water that feeds the plants, and it does it in a very specific way. So there's 2 lines of incoming water here at about 51, and the water leaves at 10 degrees. There's a counterflow in here with supercoolant in the center, and it's important that it is counterflowing and that it's not going in the same direction. That way the supercoolant enters at its coldest point where the water is leaving, and it exits at the warmest point where the water is at its warmest. And it's kind of cool here because it's actually in the range where you can see a nice temperature gradient across the metal tiles here. So the reason for 6 turbines and 6 aquatuners, if we look at the cooling calculator here, I'm going to be cooling about 18 kilograms per second down to about 5 degrees, and the input is really going to be at about 70. So if we look at the numbers here, the maximum I would ever need putting in 70 degree water would be about 12 kilograms of steam, which is 6 turbines because they can do 2,000 grams each. And the DTUs I need to move is just under 5 aquatuners worth if they're running supercoolant. So the 6th aquatuner here is what cools this room up here. So I have the 6 turbines and then the 5 aquatuners to cool off all of the water. So that's how the numbers work out there. Now, some other challenges, because I'm using the water as the coolant for this room, if any of the plants get stifled, like they are over here, they won't be consuming any water, so there won't be any coolant flowing through. So I have this thing over here that just exhausts out any of the unused water. Then it runs down over here, and it connects back in at the entry point. So if the plants do get stifled, the water can just keep circulating to try and cool them off. And I've also switched the atmosphere in here to carbon dioxide. That took quite a while. That way none of the gristleberries that fall onto the ground will spoil, and any of the meat that doesn't get picked up down over here, or if it falls on the ground, it won't expire either. Another thing I'm hoping the carbon dioxide will do is act as an insulating barrier between the conveyor receptacle that's holding all of the hot igneous rock and the plants. And the other thing I did to try and cut down on some heat conducting is the incoming rail here passes through the aluminum floor. So I swapped out this tile here for an insulated tile. That way the igneous rock won't heat up the tile, and then the water won't grab the heat from that tile. And I guess I should have made this out of ceramic. There's no point in having a radiant pipe inside of an insulated tile, because it won't exchange heat. Well, it will exchange some heat, but because it's insulated, it won't exchange very much heat, so they just kind of counteract each other. So this is the new Hatch and Bristle Blossom farm. All of this dead space that was here to prevent the hatches from overcrowding, I've turned into farmable land, or tiles. I guess there's no land left, I kinda dug it all up. So if you haven't yet seen my sour gas boiler, I'll leave a link in the top right, and I'll also point out that it is not entirely my design, it is based off of some of the work done by Tony Advanced. So I'm gonna dig out some space here. I'm thinking the very bottom can go, let's see, because I've got to fit, yeah, so this is all of the incoming natural gas pipes here. So the very bottom, I think, will be this row right here. So I'll dig this out so that my dupes can actually get underneath it, and then I will leave some space on the left over here for the steam turbines that are at the top. The very, very far left tile will be here, and then I need space for steam turbines, so if I can space it out here. See, steam turbine number 1, and then 2, 3, and 4. So this is the very center here, and the main tube, the heat exchange tube, is 12 tiles wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be here. And then out another 6. So I guess I didn't need to remove these tiles over here in the corner. So this should be 10 tiles wide, perfect. Because you need to fit 10 separate pipes here for the crude oil to flow through. Actually, I can't make them out of aluminum. I need to make them out of copper. But I don't have any copper. So I could do, let's see, what's the melting point of gold? 1063. It should never get warm enough, and gold has the same thermal conductivity as copper. So I could use gold. I could salvage some copper from over here like I've been doing before. Let's see, do I have any planets with copper ore I do, okay. I'll bring back some copper ore. So let's go over here, and then let's also send this one. This one is out researching at the moment. And the regolith melter is still going strong. And I might have pointed this out before, but I have to run the game while I'm recording on the super low speed, because I'm at the point where I'm breaking the game. I think it's mostly because of how long these runs are with the railing here. They seem to cause the biggest impact on frame rate. So let's go ahead and send these off. Ooh, I actually don't have there's not enough for me to send to this one, so I'll hold off on that one. No point in wasting the fuel. Okay, but my dupes can keep working on this over here. I need to get rid of quite a big chunk in here, and then I will put in probably some ladders here. I think that'll work. Now, I don't have the map anymore because I had to do a factory reset on my computer, so I lost the map with the sour gas boiler, but I'm trying to piece it back together from my old video. So it looks like the counterflow section of it was only about 15 tiles or so. So after all of the pumps and condenser, it should be 15 tiles after that. So down at the very bottom here, we need some liquid valves, and these will limit the flow of the crude oil to just 1,000 grams per pipe. That way there's no bursting inside of the pipe. And then it should just be radiant pipes up from there. And then here, the crude oil pipe that runs across the bottom here, it can be pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be insulated or radiant. it will grab oil from over here. So I don't need these anymore. I could have gotten rid of them a long time ago, I guess. Come up here, bridge over, and then come up this way. So there's two versions of this sour gas boiler. One converts petroleum into sour gas, and the other one converts crude oil straight into sour gas. And the one that is self-powering requires crude oil, and it works because of the difference in specific heat capacity between crude oil, which is 1.69, and petroleum, which is 1.76. So it's a little similar to the regolith melter. And then I need to extend these ladders that my dupes can actually build all of this piping here. And then the gas pumps, all of this stuff down here can be made out of gold amalgam, but I don't have any way of getting more gold amalgam, and I don't have very much left. So I'm going to be using steel for all the components down here, just because it's easier for me to get steel at this point than it would be for me to get more gold amalgam. So pump number 1 goes in this corner, right here. So pump number 2 would be here. And there's 3 layers of pumps. But I can't fit the rest of them in because the ladders are in the way. So as my dupes finish from top to bottom, I can go ahead and remove more and more of the ladders and fit more components in. And then here, I need some airflow tiles, and I'm going to make these out of steel as well. And there's some power transformers that sit on top of these, and they will be what power all of the pumps down here. No, just kidding. They are what power all of the components up at the top. Wait, what was that? Huh. Oh, there's a poke shell buried here. How did that happen? All of these valves here need to be set to 1,000 grams. And you can't do a copy on these. You have to wait for a dupe to actually come over and change the setting on this valve. So once the work errand notification goes away, you can then copy and paste it. But because it hasn't been changed yet, you'd be copying the original flow. So you can either do them all manually, or wait for a dupe and then copy it. So I'm going to set this to 9 and then copy, because I'm lazy. Alright, so now the work errand notification went away, so I'm going to copy and paste. And then the very top of this bottom room will be right here. And then that marks the beginning of the condenser right here. And it's shaped kind of like that. And then inside of it will sit a tappetizer, which I think I will also make out of steel. In the very late game, when you start running out of material, it's better to convert all of your iron into steel, because then you get a little bit more material out of it. Because if you look at the recipe for steel, it takes 70 kilograms of iron to get 100 kilograms of steel, and they both can make the same amount of buildings. So I could make 7 tiles out of iron ore, or I could convert that iron ore into steel and get an extra 3 from the same amount of iron. Now it does cost you lime and refined carbon, but those are a little bit easier to get than straight up more iron ore. So you get that little extra oomph from your iron by converting it into steel. Now through here, actually, there needs to be some bridges, because the very center here is the pathway for the supercoolant. And here, I think I will actually use aluminum, because it's going to be cold, not hot. So the melting point is a non-factor here. And then I need insulated piping to the edges. And actually, you can't see it, but right here on the inputs and outputs of these bridges, it needs to be switched to ceramic. And then it looks like there are 2 thermosensors that go here and here. I think I'll try and figure out the ventilation path here. So I can do, I think, something like this. That should capture all of those. And then, alright, the pipe will run out this way. And then over here, I can do something similar. And then maybe run down this way and come through here. And then the last ones in the center here, because there's going to be a pump with an output here and a pump with an output here. I'm going to cancel this one and this one. I'm gonna do some fancy bridge work here. Here and here. Then these outputs are gonna connect together. And then right in the middle, there'll be a bridge here. And then this can go out this way. And then once the pumps are in place, this will make sense. But it looks like a mess right now. So my dupes need to get in here. Let me get rid of that. So now I can go ahead and connect up these pipes here. I think I'm gonna use, let's see, the natural gas should be about 90 degrees at the most as it leaves. So I don't know if I need to use all of my mafic on the piping. I think I can get away with igneous. So it'll come over here and then connect in here. And this will all switch to igneous. Because now that I have the regolith melter, I can afford all of the igneous. So there we go. All the pipes are now connected up. Well, all of the blueprints are connected up at least. Now my dupes need to get on it. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but I'm actually having some problems here with the throughput on the grills. Because they're not cooking the food fast enough, it's actually just sitting in this water and it's spoiling. So I think I'm gonna try put in some refrigerators. That way the auto sweeper will take it out of the water and put it into the carbon dioxide. And that way it'll give my chefs some time to catch back up when they go on break without letting all of the food spoil. And I'm not going to power these because they're in carbon dioxide. Of course, I could spare the power at this point. I have so much power, but why? Wait, nope. This is a terrible idea. These refrigerators are already full. What I need to do instead is put a loader with a chute. Like this. That way, it can just pile up on the ground instead of in the refrigerator. That should save some food. Oh no, wait a minute, that won't work either, because then the auto sweeper is just going to be in a constant loop. Oh, this is getting unnecessarily complicated. No, there's a better way to do this still. Okay, one more little tweak, here we go. Now it looks a little neater. So this auto sweeper should pick up all of the stuff in here that has the potential to decay or spoil. It will put it in here. It will run along, drop out here onto the ground where it can't spoil because it's in carbon dioxide. And then this auto sweeper will put it either into this grill or this grill. And then the food that the grill produces is going to drop onto the ground where it can't spoil. And then this auto sweeper should be able to reach it and put it into this conveyor loader to be shipped out. So this one I need to set to barbecue and gristleberry. So here's gristleberry and here's barbecue. There we go. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, enough sidetracks. Back to what I was doing over here. It looks like they've made about no progress. Fantastic. Alright, now for the more technical part up here. This is where all of the magic happens. I put in some vents here. And I'm going to make them out of steel because it's going to be really, really hot up here. And I don't think gold amalgam would survive. Now the aqua tuners that are going to be doing all of the converting or heat transferring are going to sit here and over... Oh, I just ran out of thermium. I need more niobium, okay. So let's see, where is the niobium? Looks like this is the closest planet with niobium. So we'll go send this one off, and we'll send this one off. But while I wait for all that, I can show you how the power wires go here. So this powers that first aqua tuner, and this one runs up here and powers aqua tuner number 2, right there. Then this final wire here comes up and powers the aqua tuner that cools the steam turbines. And it's slightly different down here. Tell me when you notice it. Let's see, I think I can also put in the gas pipes while I wait. Now, this is a very important part of the whole build. There's hydrogen that circulates with the crude oil. And this balances out the difference in specific heat capacity so that we can capture it and turn it into power. And that's what allows for the whole self-powered thing here. I think I may need to break in here. That way my dupes can access this upper portion, because these ladders are starting to get in the way of construction. So it looks like I came out a couple tiles here, and then I went across here. So the steam room should be about this big. And then the steam turbines go up here. So let me outline this with some ceramic. Whoa! There's a bunch of poke shells hiding in there. Okay, hopefully they'll die before I need this space. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 steam turbines. Alright, yeah, they're all starving. So you know what comes next by now. Here's the drywall and the shift plates. I can connect all of these up to power here. Get a joint plate. Then I think I will connect it in to over here. Like this. And there's a bunch more poke shells. There must have been a bunch of eggs that I buried here or something. Alright, there we go. Actually, you know what? No, I don't like that. It would be better if I put it here. So then the exhaust on the steam turbines, I'm pretty sure this is exactly like I do everything else. Yeah, okay. So I came out here, here, and here. And these vents, these can be gold amalgam. So some of the automation here, we've got 2 thermosensors. One will come down here and join in with the signal from this thermosensor, and then this one just connects into there. But what this is going to do, because these aqua tuners need to run in 2 different scenarios, so you need 2 different ways of turning them on. So let me just connect it up to here, and then even though I don't have the thermium for this yet, I can put in the automation. Okay, so if it's too cold up here, you need the aqua tuners to run to keep this hot. And then if it's ever too warm down here, that's also when you need the aqua tuners to run. So this thermosensor here, if I can find it, there we go. I'll probably have to finagle this later, or as I warm it up to turn it all on. But this, I think, is set to negative 180. Let me see, I think it's based off of the condensation point of sour gas. No, it's based on the freezing point of natural gas, or methane, which is negative 182. So this, if it's ever above negative 1, we need some room for margin, so negative 175, that will turn on the aqua tuners up here. And then this thermosensor, it controls the liquid tepidizer, and we don't want to freeze the methane here, that would be a problem. So if it's ever too cold, so if it's ever above negative 182, we can go ahead and turn on the tepidizer. Sorry, if it's ever below negative 182. Now these up here, this thermosensor controls the temperature of this room. So if it's ever below, let's see, the hottest we can go here is the melting point or the overheat temperature of a thermium aqua tuner. See, an aqua tuner has a standard overheat temperature of 125, and thermium adds 900 degrees to that, so it would be 1025. So if this is ever below 1020, go ahead and turn on those aqua tuners. And then this thermosensor, what does it do? Let me double check my video. Okay, it looks like, so I just double checked my old video, and this should be set to negative 183, and this should be set to 188. And then this thermosensor, if it's ever above 1023, so we want to get as close to that overheat temperature as possible before we open the doors, or close the doors. And then it also looks like I ran this through a buffer gate. So then this will control all of the doors here, which need to be made out of steel. Then the wire that powers the aquatuner for the steam turbines is also what powers the doors here. So I can run that up to right there. That should be where the aquatuner sits. So to close the condenser's loop, you come in here, come up into the aquatuner port, back down, and then this is where the bridge will go. And then it's going to do the same thing here. So you've got the bypass for that one, and then the bypass for this one. And because there's 2 aquatuners, we need 2 buffers. And that'll prevent the line from jamming. My rockets have returned with some niobium, so I'm going to go ahead and launch them again, because I don't think that was quite enough. If I double check the forge here... No, actually, I think that's enough. I'm going to send them anyway. Because why not? I need to keep this warm down here, so I have to keep sending rockets. If I stop sending rockets, then the regolith melter will just stop working. And then my hatches die because they're not getting any food, and then my duplicates die because they're not getting any food, and then... Usually it's a good idea not to make your base super interdependent, because then if one thing goes wrong, right, it breaks everything that it's relying on, or everything that's relying on it. Alright, there we go. Last one's off. So the gas pipe, it comes out this way, and switches to radiant right through the floor here. And it's going to be radiant from the bottom, and then it's going to switch back to ceramic as it passes through the condenser, like this. And then it's going to be radiant from here up, and then here it needs to switch back to ceramic. So once I get a little bit more steel, I can put in the rest of the radiant pipe. Let's see, I could also figure out the cooling loop for these turbines up here. And even if I didn't do this in my original build, I'm gonna do it here, because this has pretty much become my standard when it comes to steam turbines. So it's gonna be something like this, and then the aluminum will go through the center here. We need the thermosensor, and then that can connect up to the buffer gate, and then the buffer gate will go into the aquatuner. There we go. So now I'm really just waiting for more thermium and steel. Let's see how they're doing over here. I've still got steel queued up, and they're still working on the thermium. Okay, it looks like I have enough thermium to put this in. Now I'm just waiting on steel. See, these are priority 6. I don't know what they're doing. I think running at, about 7 frames per second is messing with duplicants pathing. I need to get more of the map blocked up. I think maybe once I put in the 2 sour gas boilers, I've got just enough frames left to do one more project, and then I think this map will be too laggy to continue playing on. I'm running out of overly extravagant build ideas, so we can continue the steel up this way. And a trick I learned, if you don't have enough to finish the whole thing, if you do some loops like that, you can finish everything, and then just cancel these 2. Then you don't have to come back and put the second one in. It's already queued up. So I'll connect these up, and connect these up. And then this section right here is where a gas valve is going to go, and that limits the flow on the hydrogen, so that the mass of the hydrogen perfectly balances out the difference in specific heat capacity between the sour gas that's going to be flowing down and the crude oil that's going to be flowing up. And that's what allows for this steam room up at the top. That's how I recapture some of that extra heat. So the total dimensions on this, it looks like it's going to be about 60 blocks tall. But it's only 12 blocks wide for this part, and the top part is only, what is that, 22? Yeah, I think that's 22. So total dimensions, if you want to look at it that way, it's 22 by 60. Because it's kind of hard to figure out what to put in this space here. There's not much you can do with that. Now the floor here needs to be steel, and I guess I can do that so my dupes can get in and out there. Then I'm also going to put in some steel here. I think I can start getting rid of some of these ladders. So the edge here needs to be ceramic. Oh, that means I will need to make a little ladder here so that my dupes can actually build that final piece. Ooh, and I have no way of getting across here. Now, this section in here, I do need to fill this up with some supercoolant, so I will put in a bottle emptier here. And the more supercoolant you can spare to put in here, the more stable the temperature will stay here. So I will set this to supercoolant, and enable auto bottle, and priority 9. Actually, just kidding. This doesn't need to be steel. This can be aluminum. Right, the ones here need to be steel, because this is the hot part. So I will switch this, and then use all of that steel I just got back for... Oh, it hasn't registered yet. There it goes. Oh, the game is so laggy. Can finish off the steel here, and put in the rest of the gas pumps. Now I'm gonna make these power transformers out of steel, because I don't want to deal with any overheat problems while I am getting the whole thing set up, because breaking back in is gonna be a nightmare if something goes wrong. Oh, and I don't want these to turn on yet, so I'm going to snip that. I don't want these making any extra heat. Oh, that's so bad. I think my frame rate problem might be because of all of these poke shells here. I need to just stop making poke shells. I'm pretty sure I have enough lime to last me till the end of the game. So I'm going to change the priority on these incubators and put in an egg cracker here, because I'm sitting at a good 6 frames a second now. It's really hard to watch. So I'm going to select pinch row, forever, and priority 9. And you know what? For good measure, I'm going to put in a couple more. And then I'll let all of these poke shells die off, and any new eggs will be cracked. Really, this isn't needed anymore. I don't need the power, and I don't need the polluted dirt to feed the poke shells because I don't need any lime. If poke shells didn't fight back, I would issue an attack command on all of these, but that would just get all my dupes killed. Now in this room, I think I can get away with some temperature shift plates. So I'll put drywall here on the edges where it's going to be touching the ceramic, and then all in here can be copper shift plates. I'll finish up the pumps here, and I will take out this ladder and then move it to the outside. That way I can put in the power transformers on this side, because right now the ladder is blocking it. So now these gas valves, face them down, and set them to 433.3 repeating. It'll round to 433.3, and then copy that over here. And if you want to know the reason behind that number, then you can check out my self-powered natural gas boiler. Now getting the hydrogen into here might be a little difficult, since all of my hydrogen production is up here at the top of the map. I may throw in some electrolyzers down here, collect the hydrogen and pump it in. I don't know if that would be easier than pumping it all the way down to the bottom here. I guess I could use oxygen. Let's see, what's the specific heat capacity of oxygen? 1 hydrogen. If hydrogen is closer to 2, it won't work. Let's see, hydrogen, 2.4. That means I would need 2.4 times as much mass of oxygen. So 433.33 times 2.4. Yeah, it won't fit in one pipe. I can't use oxygen. Oh well. Oh, but it does look like we have enough supercoolant in here now, so I'm gonna get rid of this and put in the top of the block here. Let me just double check that everything's connected up, that way I don't have to break back in. Yep, automation and plumbing is good, so my dupes can go ahead and seal this up. So then this should be the last thing my dupes need to put in here. So this is important, because the methane is gonna sit here, and it acts as a liquid lock so that none of the natural gas down here can flow back up and out. If it was 2 tiles in between this condenser and the top part up here, then the natural gas could flow back up and around. Now I think the only thing left to do is get this connected up to some oil, get some water into these 2 steam rooms here, and fill this loop with hydrogen. So let's see, the crude oil can come over here, I can bridge over that, and then once my dupes clear out all of this extra piping, I can jump over that to here, and bridge over right there. Let me just double check that all of these are set to 1000. I don't want any pipes to be breaking here. Alright, good. And I'm gonna leave the oxygen in here, and let the pumps here suck it out. And there is one little added bonus to this design too. If any oxygen finds its way up to the top up here, when the crude oil comes out of the vent and flashes into sour gas, it displaces the oxygen that was in that tile, and if there's no tiles left for the oxygen to move into, it just deletes the oxygen. Now, it won't delete the sour gas, because the sour gas can just combine with the tiles surrounding it, so you don't lose any mass there, but it will filter out any gases that aren't sour gas. I didn't really leave myself a way to get water into here, did I? Okay, well, I'm gonna seal this up, and then maybe break in from over here, like that. Let me get rid of that steel there. Ooh, and I need to put in the final aqua tuner here. Okay, I need more steel for that. I'm still waiting on iron from this volcano to make that steel. It's about to go dormant, so all this steel that's stuck in here because it's too hot should be leaving soon. So I can actually cheat a little bit and put in the water right here, because this vent should pour down and fill up this room. So I can go ahead and grab some water right here. Now, getting this up to temperature is going to take quite a bit of power, because I need all of these, or I need both of these aqua tuners to run, and this tepodizer down here to run, because it needs to create that heat from somewhere. And I can't connect the oil up while it's warming up, because it will back up in these pipes where it's only supposed to have 1000 grams per bubble. But if it can't come out of the vent because it's overpressurized up here because it's not warm enough to actually turn it into a gas so that it can flow back down through the airflow tile, then it's going to back up in these pipes here, and once it does get up to temperature, it's going to break the pipe. So I need to wait for it to be warm before I connect in the oil. And then I only want this single transformer turning on. Before I connect up the power, I'm going to snip all of the other ones. I can't avoid this one though, okay. I just won't pull it to a vacuum. I'll leave a tiny bit of oxygen. So these gas pumps have quite a ways to go. But I need to fill up these lines here with supercoolant. Oh, I forgot the aqua tuner. Okay, I'm gonna have to break back in there. So while this is filling up with water, I'm gonna fill up this loop with supercoolant, and I'm gonna fill up, let's see, where's a good place to break in here? If I put the bridge here, I think the debris might end up inside the contraption. I can fill it up from here. So I'll run this over here. Liquid pump can go here, and I'll get that connected up. Then the other half can come up this way, and connect into here. Okay, all of the pieces are coming together now. The hydrogen loops are full. The supercoolant loops are full. The only thing left to do is power everything on. So I'm gonna connect all of these back up. These aqua tuners should get to work heating up this room up here. So there's quite a bit of water in here, so this is gonna take a while to actually heat up to the right temperature. All right, it's gotta get up to, at the very least, 540-ish. It won't be self-powering at that temperature, but as it gets higher and higher, it should become self-powering. Now that there's a vacuum in here, it's a race between the overheat temperature of these transformers, the coolness of the condenser, and the heat of the vaporizer. If these overheat before these two can get to the correct temperatures, we have a problem. Oh, I never put in a buffer here. Oops. I have made a grave mistake. These bridges, I made them out of granite, so they melted. You need to make them out of obsidian. Oh, that means I'm gonna have to break back in. So we need to do some very, very careful surgery here. I'm gonna put in these ladders here, so that my dupes can actually reach this final bridge. Then I've gotta break in here, pick up this steel, and then put it back in one tile at a time. It is a really good thing I made these out of steel, though. It gives me a lot of flexibility on their overheat temperature. I got time to actually do all this stuff. If they were made out of iron, they'd be overheating by now. Alright, that liquid bridge is in place now. Problem is solved. Now one by one, I gotta fix this. Well, at least on the bright side, it's warm enough in here now for me to turn the oil on once I finish this. Then I also have to deconstruct these one by one. Well, I guess I could just use the Deconstruct mod right at the end. Since they're all connected, I can just deconstruct this one and the rest will follow. Okay, here we go. Once they finish this last tile, I'm gonna seal this up. Gotta sweep up the mess down here. And then turn on the crude oil, because these are approaching their overheat temperature. Alright, now that they picked up the last little bits there, I'm gonna seal that up. And as soon as they seal this up... Alright, good. I need them to finish that. Then I can see if this works, or if I'm just gonna have a big mess. My money's on the mess. Because getting one of these sour gas boilers up and running, there's a lot of finessing. And if you do something wrong, then you gotta break back in, and a lot of your progress gets destroyed. So here we go. Gonna connect it up. Alright, the crude oil is turning into sour gas. That's perfect. Doesn't look like it's condensing, though. Oh, there's little bits of natural gas. Let's look at the temperature overlay here. You don't want this to get too close to this, and you don't want it to get too close to down here. You want this midpoint to be, well, right in the middle. The methane doesn't want to stay liquid here. It needs to be a little bit colder. Let me snip this really quickly. Alright, perfect. This pool and this pool create a vacuum lock, so only natural gas should be down here. So let me connect that back up. And as long as it doesn't boil off this pool of methane, I think that's all I need to do. Alright, now I gotta put all of this natural gas somewhere, which means it's time to connect this up. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like the generators won't accept an input if there's no output pipe. Okay, well that means I gotta figure out what to do with all of this carbon dioxide already. One generator produces 22.5 grams. So let's take the 1000 divided by 22.5. I can fit 44 on one pipe. That means I'm gonna need 2 pipes, because I have about 80 natural gas generators. So maybe I can use some of this space here for that. So let's see, this one uses... So if I do the math here again, so 22.5 times... Let's see, there's 12 per row and I have 7 rows, so times 12 times 7. And then a single carbon... Oh wait, no, I've got to also add in all of these. So I'll just add 10 carbon skimmers onto whatever I get here. So divided by 300 plus the 10. So I'm going to need 17 carbon skimmers. So if I get these ladders out of the way... So I'm going to need 38 tiles to fit all of that, and it looks like it will just about fit. Okay, let me unpause and let my dupes get busy. So actually, I don't want the carbon dioxide to come out over here. It would be better if it came out over here. Like, in this area. So, yeah, I can snip this and do 1 pipe for each side. Like this. So I just need to put in a bunch of bridges here. And then I can do that same thing on this side. That means I need to flip this bridge. But you know what? Actually, I don't even like the way that this natural gas is routed. I think I'm gonna go this way. So I'm gonna deconstruct all of that. That should make the piping look a little bit cleaner. So that can run into there now. And then this can run this way. Alright, there we go. Now I've got something to work with. So I'll let my dupes build all of that. Now the question becomes, do I use a water sieve to recycle this water, or just rely on these water sieves? So the amount of carbon skimmers that I have here, I would need 4 water sieves, and they would fit in this area up here. So I'm thinking if, instead of using ceramic here, I could have some mesh tiles. I'm gonna make these out of iron ore, because I don't have enough steel, but I will switch this to steel. I just need this up and running right now. Let's see, I can fit 1 water sieve here, another one here, and then I'll put the other 2 over here, and all of the carbon skimmers can be on the first floor down here. Or, I could just do 2 separate floors. Yeah, I think that would actually work out better. So the clean water that comes out of the sieves can go this way into the carbon skimmers here, and then the polluted water that comes out of the skimmers can run through the ceiling here. And then I will just do that same thing down here. Okay, I think I've got it figured out now. Everything is running. We've got a couple broken ones, but that was because this was having some problems because it was stalled out, but it looks like it's caught back up now. If we take a look at the ventilation overlay, all of this natural gas is flowing in. I've replaced the carbon skimmers here with gas pumps, and they just pump in the carbon dioxide up into this room. And then the water is recycled here using these water sieves. So now, if we look at how much power I am producing, I can make over 123 kilowatts just on the left side of the map. If we look at temperatures here, you can see it stays hot up here, and it stays cold right in this area. So the crude oil enters kind of at the medium area, that's why it stays warm down here. You can also check temperatures here, and it's staying pretty nice and chilly in here. Up in here, because all of this carbon dioxide is leaving so cold, it's going to keep this room pretty chill. So if we zoom out and take a look at everything now, I've got the petroleum boiler, the sour gas boiler, and then the 2 power stations that consume that power. So this consumes 1 full pipe of crude oil, and you get 6 petroleum generator, or you get 5 petroleum generators worth. Right, that 6th one is just because of the buffer. Or you could put those 10 kilograms of crude oil into a sour gas boiler and use about 80 natural gas generators. So not only do you get more power, you also get to keep more of the mass in output water. So all of this extra water will go towards feeding all of the extra bristle blossoms that I have. Now all I need to do is copy this on the right side of the map. Well, maybe I need to move this water tank first, though. Let's see, the top of the... Yeah, I'll definitely need to move it. But that will be for the next episode. I'm thinking I will do maybe 1 or 2 more. I haven't decided on what project to do next. Because like I said earlier, the game is getting pretty chuggish. I want to try and utilize this magma down here. So if I come up with a build for this, I'll go ahead and make that the next episode. And then I think the very last episode will be kind of a base tour to recap everything that I've built. But that's about all I wanted to cover in this episode. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.